Hey, what is up, warriors? It's the Quadfather here. And as you've seen from the title, I'm going to talk about being rich and successful. I mean, I've felt both at different times, sometimes at the same time, but everybody has their own different goals or ideas about what's successful and rich. I mean, I heard somebody really rich asked, how much money is enough? And he said, $5,000 more than I have. And that's kind of how it is. I mean, if you talk to rich people, you know, sometimes they don't feel rich, or sometimes they do, but it doesn't really make them feel successful. I've interviewed quite a few people in my life. I've talked to and observed many people. And so this is just my experience, what I've seen from what the things are that make them successful. Okay. So I made some notes here because I think it's kind of important. First of all, look at wealthy people. Not just famous people, but wealthy people. I mean, there are a lot of wealthy people. I mean, you watch Shark Tank, those guys are wealthy, but how many of you really heard of? I mean, maybe Mark Cuban, I mean, at least in my experience. Most of the other ones I hadn't heard of. Okay, so there are, even those are the famous people, right? Those are still, because they're on the TV show, Rich and Famous. But there are a lot of wealthy people. There are a lot of ways to make money. You just have to have that goal, have that vision. I've had two friends who I would say really made quite a bit more money than even kind of upper middle. I would say they're lower. Well, it doesn't matter. But they made quite a bit of money. And both of them had a vision of what they wanted to do. Yes, they knew that it would take them to a place where they were earning money, but they found things that they could set as a goal. Like one was a financial planner. Okay. And at one point I said to him, man, because he hit this certain market and he really started to make money quite a bit, more than he had been before. And I said, boy, weren't you glad that you found that little market? And he said, well, yeah, but it wasn't going to be that market. It was going to be another market or a different market. I mean, he just had his goal set out for him. Another one, he's in real estate, and he knew that if he pursued buying property, renting property, going in on properties with people, share of the cost, managing them, he knew that would be a vehicle to make him money. And so he had his focus not on making the money, but on the vehicle or the end game, the method of how he would get there, and that was through real estate. Okay, so your money, you can't have a goal of just to be rich, right? Because it's people like that get lured into like get-rich-quick schemes, and they really get their hopes up. They play the lottery all the time. And it does happen, but it doesn't happen a lot. Okay, so that's where they kind of put their things. So, look, I want you to pause right now and think, okay, of the rich people that I'm aware of and that I see in the media and the popular people and the famous people, how many of them are happy with their lives and how many are miserable? You know, I don't know that answer, because all we hear is about the miserable ones, you know, the ones who hurt themselves or, you know, kill themselves or, you know, are taking all these pills and all this other stuff. You know, you hear about those ones. So, you know, there's probably lots that are, you know, actually rich themselves and still happy. But money definitely doesn't equal happiness. So if you're looking for money to be happy, I think happy people are happy when they're poor and happy when they're rich. They just have less to worry about and less bills or stresses on their lives. So that's really not it. So how do you find out what you can be good at, right? So you got to look at your likes. Okay, what are your likes? What interests you? What draws your attention? I'm going to switch my outfit here. I'm getting hot. I'm going to switch from my businessman to my regular man. Okay, so find your interests, find your skills. If you don't know what that is yet, because you're still too young, just do stuff. You know, I think a lot can be learned from success. Okay, so be good at something. You will learn how to stick to it. You'll learn how to follow through with a plan. You'll learn how to. You'll get work ethic. Just start something and finish it. And even if you aren't great at it, you learn something. You learn something along the way, okay? Because failure will happen. It will. But is it failure, or is it just another thing in the process of your story of doing something that you find interesting and valuable and meaningful to you? That's all. Just to you is all that matters, okay? So and avoid things that are a distraction. Okay, so if you're clear on your focus on what you want to do, what you want to accomplish, you won't be able to be distracted very easily. Okay, so don't let yourself be distracted. So you got to know really clear. Okay, so now a story from my life. At 16 years old, I decided I want to be an actor. I lived in the outskirts of Los Angeles, about 45, depending, to an hour and a half drive into Hollywood, where all the studios and everybody were. And I went and took some acting classes, and I got an agent, and I went on probably about 20 different commercial interviews. Okay, that's a lot of commute time. It's a lot of sitting around in lobbies waiting to read your part, and I didn't make it. I didn't make it on any of them. I got a couple callbacks, which is a second call. If they like you, they call you in. But it never panned out to anything. Okay, now is that a failure? I guess on one level, but I learned so much. So if you keep doing things and following things and get out there and get busy and do things, you'll learn a lot. Okay, like I learned how to speak with confidence. Okay, that's something that serves me to this day. I learned to be independent because I was driving to LA. It's not, navigating the freeways and finding your way to the right building, to the, running into different people at 16 in Hollywood. You never know what you're going to get, right? So I learned to do that. I learned to survive out there. And I learned to be confident talking to adults. Okay, about, basically as a teenager, I hadn't spent a lot of time talking to adults. But I also learned to work hard. Because it wasn't easy and I didn't get any money. So I guess that's a whole lot of volunteer work. But I did learn things. Okay. I also learned that I didn't want to continue to do that until I became an actor. I just said, you know what? There are other things I can spend my time on, get a job, get a car, get my car painted, go on good dates, stuff like that. Those things took their way. But I would say that I'm successful in what I've done because I've stuck to it. I've kept in the game. I've kept I kept in the same career field and just followed it. Okay, but I wouldn't say that I'm rich. But I would, like I was talking about earlier. I think happy people are able to be happy when they're poor and able to be happy when they're rich. Like I thought about this the other day. I've never had a job I didn't like. I mean, I was a tree trimmer. I worked at McDonald's for a month till they fired me. I'll tell you that story sometime. Then I was a dishwasher at a kitchen. I was a custom cabinet builder, which was kind of cool. I got to go into a lot of rich people's houses and install their cabinets, some movie stars and stuff, but I don't really remember who they were. But I was in those areas, in those houses, and what I realized is most of the time, the people who own the houses, they aren't there. Really nice houses, but they're out working. They're out getting the job done. So I always looked at it like the maids and the butlers are the ones who are living here. They're the ones who are here all day. Not the rich people. They're out earning the money. So maybe a big house wasn't something that I was going to shoot for, even though there are times. But I've been in really big houses for a while, and I don't feel any better as a person. Okay, and I also worked in a cafeteria. So in conclusion, here's some things you can do. Okay, so you can be good with people. That's what I found. The number one thing is being good with people. Okay, you can find your way through just about anything. People are willing to help you, teach you. You can learn. You're positive. You're good with people. That will take you in whatever field you're able to. Also, be able to hear what people want from you, because in the final analysis, every interaction is an exchange. Okay, what am I getting from you? What are you getting from me? And we're not talking about money. It's not prostitution, but it is an exchange, at least, of good feelings, goodwill. Positive stories, sharing of experiences, things like that. If you go going back and forth with people, why do you think business is done on golf courses and over meals and things like that? Because it's a relationship. So be good with people and find a way to meet each other's goals, whatever they're looking for. And in the end here, I'll finish with I'm wearing the Machine shirt. This is Bert Kreischer's shirt. He's a comedian. I listen to him as a podcast. His book's back there. Just got his book, Life of the Party. Really enjoyed it. And even through all his partying, what I noticed was that he stayed focused on his goal. He was great with people. He was the life of the party. Anyway, so I think that's an excellent skill. You don't have to do it all on partying, though. But anyway, so actually it was when I was listening to his book on Audible that I noticed he's at one point he lands this really, really good television deal. And I don't know the numbers. You'd have to go back and check it. But say it's $200,000 he gets for a year, which is like 10 times more than he's ever made any year. And he was driving home after work one day, and he kind of looked around and he thought, wow, with all this money, I really thought I'd be happier. So rich and successful, I feel rich, I feel successful, Other people may not measure it like that, but it's how you measure it. So decide for yourself. It's the Quad Father, and I am out of here.